All right, so are you ready to dive into a world where one key could completely change the global economy?
Oh, absolutely. I'm fascinated by this whole concept.
Me too. And this book you sent over, Copilot Key, the untold story of Satya Nadella's trillion-dollar gamble to reshape the global economy. It really lays it all out.
Yeah, it's a great read. I think it really captures like this moment in time,
Yeah.
where AI is about to like transform everything.
Yeah, for sure. And the book starts off by describing what they call the pre-key era. So, like, think back to the world before this Copilot Key existed.
Right.
It was just a world that was, like, overflowing with information and digital overload everywhere.
Oh yeah, remember just a million different apps and like you're constantly switching back and forth.
Ugh, don't even get me started on email chains.
Oh, tell me about it. It's funny because it felt like a personal problem, right? Like just struggling to keep up.
Move away.
But the book makes this point that it was actually like a global economic issue. You think
Yeah.
about all the wasted time, all that potential just completely bogged down by these clunky workflows.
It's wild. And so that's where the Copilot Key comes in.
Right.
And it's not just like another piece of software. This is something different.
Yeah, it's like a totally different way of interacting with tech. I think the book argues that all the existing AI assistants, they were kind of limited because they were always like off to the side.
Yeah.
So what makes the Copilot Key so brilliant is it makes AI like as natural as breathing. It's always there, like just one keystroke away, ready to jump in and help with whatever you're doing.
That's so cool. Okay, so instead of having to like switch between all these different programs and trying to figure out these complicated AI tools,
Yeah.
you just hit the Copilot key and boom, instant AI power.
Exactly. It's like magic. You could be writing a report and need some data from a spreadsheet instead of like copying and pasting manually.
Right.
Hit that Copilot key. Tell it what you need. It's done in seconds.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But okay, what about people like me who aren't exactly like tech geniuses?
Well, that's the best part.
Is this just for programmers and data scientists?
Not at all. This is one of the things I found most exciting about the book. They argue that this key is going to like democratize AI.
Okay.
It's going to make it accessible to anyone,
Oh.
regardless of your tech skills.
So like a small business owner could use it to manage their inventory? A student could use it to get like personalized tutoring?
Uh-huh.
Even somebody who's never coded before could like build a website.
Exactly. It's all about giving everyone that same power, leveling the playing field. It's really a whole new world of possibilities. The book calls it the one press revolution.
I like that. I can see why they call it a revolution.
Yeah.
But okay, what does that actually look like in real life? Can you give me some more like concrete examples?
Sure, imagine like a local bakery. They could use AI to like optimize their inventory,
Okay.
so they always have the right amount of ingredients and nothing goes to waste. Or picture a student in a rural community, they could get like personalized tutoring from AI
Wow.
that adapts to how they learn and helps them understand tough concepts.
So it's not just about like making things faster or easier. It's about like actually expanding what we're capable of.
That's it. It's making things possible that we couldn't even imagine before.
Yeah.
The book calls the Copilot Key a cognitive multiplier.
Okay.
It basically amplifies human potential across every skill level.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
And that makes me think, there's all this talk about AI taking jobs.
Right.
And it's a real concern.
It is.
But it seems like this is something different. Does the book talk about that at all?
It does, and it doesn't try to like downplay the challenges. The authors do acknowledge that, yes, some jobs are going to be automated
Right.
as AI gets more sophisticated.
So then what's the solution? How do we prepare for a future where AI is like this big part of the workforce?
Well, they really emphasize being proactive. Governments need to invest in education and retraining programs so people can develop the skills they'll need in this new AI-driven economy. Businesses need to think about how to integrate AI in a way that benefits everyone, not just the company, but the employees. And individuals, well, we all need to embrace lifelong learning
Right.
and constantly be updating our skills to stay relevant.
It's like a whole shift in how we think about work and learning.
It is. It's both a technological advancement and a mindset shift.
Yeah, and the book does a good job of like laying out what we can do to get ready for this transition and make sure that everybody benefits.
Absolutely. And speaking of transitions, the book also goes into this idea of a productivity singularity,
Okay.
where AI advancements actually lead to exponential economic growth.
So what does that even mean? What would that look like?
Think of it like a snowball effect. As AI gets more powerful and more widely used, the gains in productivity start to compound.
Okay.
And that leads to this like rapid acceleration of economic growth.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there are potential downsides to this kind of rapid advancement as well.
Oh, of course.
How do we make sure that this abundance benefits everyone, not just a select few?
That is such a crucial point. You hit the nail on the head. We can't just sit back and hope for the best.
Right.
We need to actively shape this future and make sure the benefits of AI are shared equitably.
Yeah.
That means ethical frameworks for AI development policies that promote access to these technologies and systems that ensure a fair distribution of the wealth that the AI generates.
So it's not just about developing the technology, it's about building like the right societal structures to support it.
Exactly. And the book has some really insightful recommendations for how to do that.
Like what?
Things like promoting data literacy and encouraging global cooperation on AI ethics.
That makes sense. And I'm curious about the whole like global power dynamics thing. The book touches on the impact of AI there as well, right?
It does. It's a fascinating angle.
Does the Copilot Key play a role in all that?
Well, it's interesting because while it's a global technology, the Copilot Key could actually empower more countries to build their own AI ecosystems
Oh, wow.
and reduce their reliance on foreign platforms.
So it could lead to a more like decentralized and multipolar world when it comes to AI development.
Potentially, yeah. And that would have huge implications geopolitically. It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Totally. I really appreciate how this book takes like such a complex topic
It is.
and breaks it down in a way that's both informative and engaging.
Yeah,
It doesn't shy away from those big philosophical questions either.
I agree. That's one of the things I liked most about it. It's not just about the technical details of the Copilot Key.
Yeah,
It's about what it means for humanity in our future.
exactly. We've covered a lot, but there's still so much more to unpack.
Yeah.
So for our listeners who are already hooked on this topic, where can they find the book?
You can find Copilot Key, the untold story of Satya Nadella's trillion-dollar gamble to reshape the global economy, for free on Amazon Kindle Unlimited.
Okay,
And if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, you can buy the ebook on Amazon for $9.99.
perfect. We'll make sure to put a link in the show notes. Now let's keep going with this deep dive. One of the things I found really thought-provoking was the book's critique of traditional economic metrics like GDP.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
They argue that GDP is way too focused on economic output and doesn't really account for things like well-being, sustainability, and social equality.
Right. Like, it's not the whole picture. It's like it misses all these other important aspects.
Totally. It's like just measuring how much stuff we're producing,
Right.
but not actually how well we're living.
Exactly. And they suggest looking at different metrics,
Oh, right.
like
Yeah.
the genuine progress indicator,
Okay.
which takes into account things like income inequality and environmental damage,
I like that.
or the Human Development Index,
Hmm.
which focuses on health, education, and standard of living.
So it's about like painting a more complete picture of progress.
Yeah.
One that includes not just economic growth, but also social and environmental well-being.
Exactly. And the book argues that the Copilot Key could actually help us achieve those bigger goals.
How so?
Well, by making us more productive and efficient,
Hmm.
it could free up resources and time.
Okay.
So we can actually focus on those things, like sustainability, social justice,
Yeah.
creating a more equitable world.
It's a pretty optimistic vision.
It is.
But does the book address any of the potential downsides of AI? Like we hear a lot about algorithmic bias and the possibility of AI being used in harmful ways.
Yeah, they do. They spend a good chunk of the book talking about the ethical implications of AI
Yeah.
and how important it is to develop safeguards to make sure it's used responsibly.
So it's not just about like blindly embracing AI.
Right.
It's about shaping it in a way that aligns with our values as a society.
Exactly. They argue that we need to be proactive about developing ethical frameworks for AI,
Okay.
making sure that it benefits all of humanity,
Yeah.
not just a select few.
Like this book is making us really think about the kind of future we want to build.
I think so. It's not just about predicting what the future holds.
Yeah.
It's a call to action. It's like, hey, let's think critically about the role of AI in our lives.
Right.
And make conscious choices about how we want to shape this technology.
I love that. So for our listeners who are ready to jump into this conversation and really explore these ideas, where can they find the book?
Copilot Key.
Yep.
The untold story of Satya Nadella's trillion-dollar gamble to reshape the global economy is available for free on Amazon Kindle Unlimited.
Great.
If you don't have Kindle Unlimited, you can buy the ebook for $9.99 on Amazon.
Awesome. We'll definitely include a link in the show notes. We highly recommend checking it out. It's a really fascinating read.
It is.
It'll definitely make you rethink your assumptions about the future
For sure.
and get you excited about the possibilities of AI.
Absolutely. One of the things that really struck me about the book
What's that?
is how it goes beyond just these big economic predictions
Okay.
and really zooms in on the individual level. Like, it paints this vivid picture of how the Copilot Key could change the way we work, learn, and even create.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah.
What are some of the ways this technology could impact our daily lives?
Well, imagine you're a writer.
Okay.
You're staring at a blank page, totally stuck.
I've been there.
You hit the Copilot Key,
Yeah.
and it could help you brainstorm ideas, research relevant topics, even suggest different writing styles to try.
Wow.
Or maybe you're a small business owner who needs to create marketing materials,
Okay.
but you don't have a design background.
Right.
The Copilot Key could give you access to AI tools that can help you design eye-catching graphics and write compelling ad copy,
Cool.
all without having to hire an expensive agency.
So it's like having a whole team of experts at your fingertips.
It's even better than that,
How so?
because the AI is constantly learning and adapting to your specific needs and preferences.
Oh, wow.
The more you use it, the more personalized and effective it becomes.
That's awesome. The book talks about how the Copilot Key can even help people learn new skills
Right.
and tackle tasks that they couldn't do before.
Exactly. It really ties back to that cognitive multiplier idea we were talking about.
Yeah, it's not about AI replacing us.
Right.
It's about humans and AI working together to achieve more than we ever could on our own.
It's like having an AI partner
I like that.
that helps you unlock your full potential.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about AI taking jobs earlier,
We did.
and it's a valid concern.
Definitely.
Does the book address that?
They do, and they don't sugarcoat it.
Okay.
They acknowledge that some jobs will definitely be automated
Wow.
as AI gets more sophisticated.
So what do we do? How do we prepare for that?
Well, the book emphasizes the importance of being proactive.
Why?
Governments need to invest in education and retraining programs to help people develop the skills they'll need in this new economy.
Makes sense.
Businesses need to think creatively about how to integrate AI in a way that benefits both the company and its employees. And individuals, we need to embrace lifelong learning, constantly updating our skills to stay relevant.
It's a whole new way of thinking about work and learning.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a shift in mindset as much as it is a technological advancement.
For sure. And the book does a good job of explaining what we can do to prepare for this transition.
It does.
To make sure everyone benefits.
Absolutely. Speaking of big shifts,
Yeah.
the book also dives into this concept of productivity singularity.
Okay, I remember you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
What is that exactly?
Think of it like a snowball effect. As
Okay.
AI becomes more powerful and more people are using it,
Yeah.
the gains in productivity start to compound.
Hmm.
And that leads to this rapid acceleration of economic growth.
So we're talking like exponential growth.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
pretty mind-blowing.
It does sound almost too good to be true. Are there any potential downsides to that kind of rapid advancement?
Oh, there are definitely potential challenges.
Like what?
One of the biggest ones is making sure that this abundance benefits everyone,
Right.
not just a select few.
Yeah, that's a crucial point.
It is. And the book really stresses that we can't just sit back and hope for the best.
We have to be intentional about it.
We do. We need to actively shape this future
Okay.
and make sure that the benefits of AI are shared equitably.
How do we do that?
Well, they talk about the need for ethical frameworks for AI development,
Yeah.
policies that promote access to these technologies,
Right.
and systems that ensure a fair distribution of the wealth generated by AI.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about building the right societal structures around it.
Exactly. And they offer some really insightful recommendations for how to do that.
Such as?
Things like promoting data literacy and fostering global cooperation on AI ethics.
Okay, that makes sense. The book also touches on the impact of AI on global power dynamics.
It does. It's a fascinating aspect.
Does the Copilot Key play a role in that?
Well, it's interesting because while it's a global technology,
Yeah.
the Copilot Key could actually empower more countries to build their own AI ecosystems and reduce their reliance on foreign platforms.
So it could lead to a more decentralized and multipolar world when it comes to AI.
Potentially. Yeah, and that would have huge implications for the geopolitical landscape.
Definitely something to watch closely.
For sure.
I really appreciate how this book takes such a complex topic and makes it accessible and engaging.
Me too. They don't shy away from those big philosophical questions either.
Exactly. It's not just about the nuts and bolts of how the Copilot Key works.
Right.
It's about the bigger picture,
It is.
the implications for humanity and our future.
Exactly. And they do a great job of presenting those ideas in a thought-provoking way.
Absolutely. We've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
but there's still so much to unpack in this book.
Oh, definitely.
So for our listeners who are eager to dive deeper, where can they find it?
You can find Copilot Key, the untold story of Satya Nadella's trillion-dollar gamble to reshape the global economy for free on Amazon Kindle Unlimited.
Okay,
Or you can buy the ebook for $9.99 on Amazon.
perfect. We'll make sure to include a link in the show notes. Now let's continue our deep dive. One of the most thought-provoking aspects of the book is its critique of traditional economic metrics like GDP.
Oh, yeah. I found that really interesting.
They argue that GDP is way too focused on economic output
Right.
and doesn't really account for things like well-being, sustainability, and social equality.
It's like it's just measuring how much stuff we're producing.
Exactly. It's not really measuring how well we're living.
Exactly. And they suggest looking at these alternative metrics.
Oh, okay. Like what?
Well, like the genuine progress indicator,
Hmm.
which factors in things like, income inequality and environmental damage.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or the Human Development Index,
Yeah.
which focuses more on health education and standard of living.
So it's about like getting a more holistic view of progress.
Right.
Not just looking at economic growth, but also, social and environmental well-being.
Exactly. And what's really cool is the book argues that the Copilot Key could actually help us achieve those broader goals.
Okay, how so?
Well, by boosting productivity and efficiency,
Okay.
it could free up resources and time
Yeah.
so we can actually focus on things like sustainability, social justice,
Yeah.
creating a more equitable world.
It's a pretty optimistic vision.
It is. It is.
But I'm curious, does the book address any of the potential downsides of AI?
Mm-hmm.
Like we hear so much about things like algorithmic bias and, the possibility of AI being used for harmful purposes.
Oh, they definitely do. They actually dedicate a good portion of the book to discussing the ethical implications of AI
Okay.
and the importance of developing safeguards,
Right.
to make sure it's used responsibly.
So it's not just about embracing AI blindly.
Exactly.
It's about shaping it in a way that aligns with our values.
Yes, exactly. They argue that we need to be really proactive in developing ethical frameworks for AI
Okay.
and making sure that it benefits all of humanity.
Right, not just a select few.
Exactly.
I feel like this book is really pushing us to think about the kind of future we want to create.
I agree with you. It's not just a prediction of what's to come.
It's a call to action.
It is a call to action. It's like, hey, let's all think critically about the role of AI in our lives
Yeah.
and make conscious choices about how we want to shape this technology.
I love that. So for our listeners who are intrigued by all of this and want to dive in themselves, where can they find the book?
Copilot Key, the untold story of Satya Nadella's trillion-dollar gamble to reshape the global economy, is available for free on Amazon Kindle Unlimited.
Awesome.
And if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, you can buy the ebook on Amazon for $9.99.
Perfect. We will definitely include a link in the show notes. We highly recommend checking it out. It's a fascinating read
It really is.
that will challenge you to think differently about the future
Absolutely.
and the possibilities of AI.
It's a book that will stay with you.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of the Copilot Key.
Yeah.
It's been a really incredible journey exploring the potential of this technology and the profound impact it could have on our world.
For sure. It's a topic that deserves so much more discussion and exploration.
Absolutely. And we encourage all of our listeners to continue that conversation. Oh, what excites you about this? What concerns you? We want to hear your thoughts on the Copilot Key and the future of AI. Share your perspectives with us on social media or leave a comment on our website.
Let's keep this conversation going because the future of AI is being shaped right now,
Yes.
and we all have a role to play in making sure it's shaped responsibly.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic. But until then, keep those brains buzzing. And as always, thanks for listening.